The vintage EQ unit is based on two hardware units from the 1950s, namely the Pultec EQ P1A, which acts on the high and low frequencies, and the Pultec MEQ5, which affects the mid-range frequencies. Let's take a closer look. The first thing to notice here is that the spectrum display is much smaller. Beneath that are the controls which, as with the EQ we've just looked at, can operate in three modes: stereo, mid-side, and left and right. The top section is the EQ P1A. The low frequency is set from one of 5 choices: 20, 30, 45, 60 and 100 Hz. The 45 option didn't exist on the original units, but it's a helpful addition here for mastering. This is a low shelf type filter, and the EQ P1A was unique in that it had separate controls for applying both cut and boost. This makes it possible to both cut and boost at the same time. You could be forgiven for thinking that doing so, they would cancel each other out. But what actually happens is the lows are boosted with a cut a little higher up the frequency spectrum, creating a unique filter shape. The high boost is a peak or bell filter, the centre frequency set here. Choose from 3, 4, 5, 8, 10, 12 or 16 kHz. The two sliders to the right set the amount of boost, while the Q parameter controls the bandwidth. This is a proportional type Q. The gain control interacts with the bandwidth and widens as the gain is reduced. On the right, we find a high shelf filter that can only be used to cut. The cutoff frequency is set by choosing either 5, 10 or 20 kHz, and the amount of cut is applied with the slider. The bottom row of controls are for the MEQ5 mid-frequency unit. There are 3 filters, all peak type. The low mids control has 5 choices of centre frequency: 200, 300, 500, 700 Hz or 1 kHz. LM boost adjusts the amount of boost applied. The centre filter is an attenuating filter. The centre frequency to be cut can be chosen using the mid-cut frequency selector. There's several choices ranging between 200 Hz and 7 kHz. The cut is applied using the mid-cut slider. The high mids control is similar to the low mids control used to set the centre frequency, but with choices from 1.5, 2, 3, 4 and 5 kHz. Boost amount is set with the HM boost slider. And that's the vintage EQ module, a unique EQ that adds a little colour to your mix.